Hi there, it's Miss Kent again, ready for our next stage in the perspective project. Now we're going to be looking at our city. This will include landscape drawing, it will include cityscapes and so on, but we're going to be focusing on perspective. Now this is what your previous piece of work should look similar to. It might be slightly different in the fact you've got a train track, you might have different sized buildings, but you've used one vanishing point. And your buildings and the lines for the tops and the bottoms of your shapes, so this sign here, top and the bottom, they go towards your vanishing point. Okay, any side lines, they go straight down. So the sides of this sign, the sides of the door, they go directly straight down. So my ruler is straight on my page. Now, as you can see, my page moves slightly, so I've been told or recommended to have a little bit of tape or something to make sure it doesn't move. I've also prepared my page, so you're going to be needing a new whole page for today's lesson. You're going to title it 2-point perspective, underline it with the ruler and give it a date as well, and then you're going to draw your horizon line on. Similar to last lesson, it's going to be slightly above the halfway mark. I've done mine about a quarter of the way down my page. I've also got my 2 vanishing points because we're now going to do 2-point perspective. Last week it was 1-point perspective, it's going towards 1 vanishing point, but today we're doing 2-point perspective. So you need to label your 2 crosses, vanishing point 1, vanishing point 2, because we're going to refer to specific vanishing points throughout the lesson. So what we're going to be doing now is we'll be using the 2 vanishing points to show that we can look in 2 directions. We're going to start off with the side of a building. So we're going to draw this underneath our horizon line. It's going to go underneath and it's going to go slightly above the horizon line. Now there is going to be a challenge later on, an extra challenge for those that are confident already. The bottom of this line is going to go towards vanishing point 2. So line it up nice and neat. The top of that line is going to go towards vanishing point 2 as well. Line it up. And I'm going to do the same for the other side. Top of the line goes towards vanishing point 1. And the bottom of the line also goes towards vanishing point 1. Now, because these are our buildings at the moment, we want to rub out the horizon line in the middle because we obviously can't see through these buildings. Even if they're glass, we wouldn't be able to see through. There'd be walls in the way, there would be office desks and clothes rails or whatever you turn these buildings into. We're then going to be dividing these up into separate buildings. So, straight ruler, yeah? It's not going to be wobbly, it's going to be dead straight. And we're going to cut off our building a few times in between. You're now going to see that we've got a terrace. We've got different heights of buildings. If I want to finish it off there, fine. I then rub out the lines left that go towards the vanishing point 1. And then that is the end of the buildings here. If I do the same on the other side, however, I'm going to make this a taller building, I think. This one here, I'm going to make taller. So I'm going to make the lines go above the others. I'm going to do the same for the other side of this building as well. I'm going to press a bit lighter because I know I'm going to rub this out in a minute. Now, because it is on the right hand side of this long line here, I'm going to go towards the right hand side vanishing point first. So my building here is on the right hand side. I'm going to join the line that is closest to the middle up with the vanishing point number 2. I'm then going to be drawing a soft line. I can see that the top of my roof is going to go at this angle here. I'm then going to make sure the rest of those lines are drawn a little bit darker. Okay, and then I can rub out the others because they are no longer needed. Now, if we have, I need to put my horizon line in again there. If we have this building, it looks like a piece of paper that is standing up. Something that's quite thin that's standing up. There's no depth, there's nothing to walk through. If you walk through this building, this wall, you come out the other side, you wouldn't be inside a room by the looks of it, because this is all the air with the sky in the middle. We need to draw the side onto this building. So what we're going to do is the top point. We're then going to line up with the opposite vanishing point. So line my ruler up, and I'm going to draw a light line going towards that vanishing point. I'm going to cut it off. So my building, the side of my building, so nice straight line because it's a side. If I shade this in, you might be able to see it now, where this is the side of this building. It's just taller. Can't see the other sides of the other buildings because they're not different heights to each other. This one is taller. So this side here, you'll be able to see above the rest. Okay. Just going to smudge that so I can't see any lines. Right. I'm going to go through that one more time. I'll do it on this side. I'm going to rub out this line here first. I don't need that anymore. That was just a guideline. So, this one here, I'm going to draw it nice and tall. I'm also going to draw the other side of this building or shot front nice and tall. Because it is on the left side of the longest line here, the middle line, so on the left, I'm going to draw towards the left vanishing point first. So I need to get the roof of this building lined up with this vanishing point. Line it up, draw the line across the top. Okay, so these should be pointing in the same direction. That's really, really important. They're pointing towards the same vanishing point. I'm going to rub out the line in the middle because I'm extending this nice and tall. I then want to show the side of the building like I did here. So the top point, I need to line up with the opposite vanishing point. So vanishing point number 2. Line up with the ruler before you draw any lines. And then soft line. I can go all the way if I want to. But I need to chop it off at some point. So I'm going to make sure this one's a little bit thinner. It's not too deep of a building. Let's make that stand out, and I'm going to shade the side so it doesn't look that difficult to see. So there we go, you can see the side of the building. Right, now that is how you do 2 points perspective. However, we're not quite done yet. We need to know how to do the shop signs, we need to know how to draw the road still, we need to draw the path, the pavement. You might want lots of windows on your shop signs. Now I'm going to draw the path in, so I'm still going to, on this side I draw towards the vanishing point 1, and on this side I draw to vanishing point 2. Line it up with vanishing point 1. I'm going to have a path in front of my shops here. And you can see, because it gets closer towards us, this path gets thicker, it gets wider. So I'm going to draw that in a bit darker. I'm going to stop halfway. I'm going to do the other side. Measure up, see how thick I want it, how wide this path should go. Draw it in. I'm going to do a little curve at the end. And there's my path. I am also going to be drawing in a road. So vanishing point 1, I'm going to do a nice wide road here. Got the page. I'm going to do a nice wide road here, or it might be a river. I'm then going to have my lines for the roads. Remember, getting smaller in the distance, they get larger, they get wider the closer they are to us. So do the gaps though. Okay, this one here. So 2-point perspective you'll often see on a corner of something. Okay, there are my paths. If I want to add on shop signs, this middle line here, if I do on this side goes to this vanishing point here. So I'm going to draw the tops of the doors. For this side they're going to be the same height. I'm going to stop at the middle line. And then I'm going to draw straight lines. This bit is really important, and a few of you were stuck with this bit last week. You were drawing wonky lines. I don't know where your doors were going. But this top line has to be at an angle. Just going to go over that a bit more. Now they look like sliding doors at the moment. If I want to make it look like glass, I can do 3 very, very thin lines in opposite corners. Okay, and it normally gives it a little bit of a glass look. I'm going to have one big window on here, this one, so I'm going to draw to the middle line, vanishing point. I'm going to have the windows going down here, cut it off. Here's my window. I'm going to have, like, I don't know, it might be showing off some fashion or something like that. I'll have my sign for my shop. Remember, the top and the bottom of the sign must come towards or from the vanishing point. Might be like a TK Maxx, I think. This is going to be a big one. Could be a something a little bit posher if you'd like to go swanky. I'm going to keep with TK Maxx. Now I've got these guidelines already on here, so I could just use those. I could also use them slightly differently to other ones. So I could have really tall window here. And I know how to make it look like glass. It's those 3 lines in opposite corners. I'm then going to have the shop sign a bit higher up, straight lines to the side, and the tops and the bottom of the sign need to be in line with the vanishing point. Okay, so you can finish that off. On this side, remember, we need to draw in doors, and we need to draw in windows and shop signs for this side. So I might have the biggest KFC I've ever seen in this building. I might have a Debenhams, I might have, you know, anything. It could be a gallery, it could be one that you've made up if you'd like. But do remember that this building here is one building, so we don't need another set of doors on this side. Single doors on here. I'm going to do an entrance and an exit door, I think, on this one. going to have these street lights. So I'm going to put a little pavement in this one, on this side. Remember, it's getting closer to you, so we need to go from the vanishing point, and it gets wider. See, it gets wider. And then we're going to have the top of the street lamps. So we're going to have them maybe coming out down. So this is the top. We need to make sure that they're neat. So the one that's here, going up to there. Okay. It then comes out, so you can use a ruler if you want. So these are just straight lines, up and across. But we know how high to come up because it touches that line. So this one here, straight line up, touches that line, do you see there? Goes across. Okay, so you can see that they actually do get smaller the further they are away in the distance, and I can rub out that guideline afterwards so it doesn't look like they're held up with string. Okay? Now I'm also going to show you how to do a bus shelter on this side. Think about it like the shapes you did in the first lesson a couple of weeks ago. So I'm going to do a rectangle. This is my shape, like we did with the letters. Every corner of it I'm going to link up to the nearest vanishing point. So nice soft lines, not pressing too hard. For each corner, line it up. I'm not going to do this one, remember why? I'm then going to go into these sections that I've just drawn. So these long, thin, almost triangle kind of shapes here. At the end of this, I've got a line that goes straight across. So I'm going to draw that exact same angle of the line there. I'm going to do it just up here, in that section. I'm then going to do the same in this section. This line at the very end of this section here goes straight down. So I'm going to go and draw that same angle in that section as well. Now, it doesn't look much of a bus shelter just yet, but we need to have the insides of it. So the inside line, this corner is quite advanced, so if you don't want to do it, I'm just lining up the corners because it's like a box, so that should go through there. If we want it to be like glass, we can draw that in, like a glass bus shelter. Okay, now rub that line out, and then I've pretty much got my bus shelter there. Okay, I can draw a bench, I can make that not a see-through glass bus shelter if I want to rub out that line. I can also draw in the stick with all of the signs on. I've got the different buses on the top. Play with what you can do in the distance. Okay, and then rub out your guidelines when you're ready.